Are your ad campaigns lighting up the dashboard, but not the pipeline? That's bullspend, and marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
My boss asked for results, so I opened my dashboard for the only positive-sounding metric I had: impressions.
Cut the bull spend. See revenue, not just reach. LinkedIn delivers the highest return on ad spend of major ad networks. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Who's in control of your future? You or life itself? Are you shaping your life or just letting it happen? And what does it really mean to create your own future? Well, that's what I'm talking about this week. Ready to take control of your tomorrow today? Then let's talk. Hello, and thanks for joining me for the Let's Talk About Mental Health podcast, the independent show full of simple ideas for better mental health. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jeremy Godwin. I'm a writer and mental health counsellor, and this isn't another show full of interviews or random opinions. Each week, I teach you practical ways to improve your mental well-being, based on quality research and my own experience of learning to live with anxiety and depression, after a breakdown in 2011 that completely changed my life. This is episode 262, and today I'm talking about how to create your future, what it means, why working on it proactively is essential, and how to create the future you want. So, let's talk. Have you ever stopped to think about who's in control of your future? Is it life? Is it luck? Or is it you? It's easy to get caught up in the idea that things will just somehow work out on their own. But the truth is, waiting for life to happen is a risky strategy. If you're not actively shaping your path, then you're leaving it in the hands of fate. And that can very quickly lead to frustration, regret, and even a sense of being stuck if things don't go the way you might have hoped. So, what if you could take charge and start creating your future to look and feel the way you want it to, one small step at a time? Well, you can. And today I'm going to be talking about what it means to take control of your future and why doing so is one of the absolute best things you can possibly do for your mental health and well-being. When you take an active role in shaping your life, rather than just letting life happen to you, you're giving yourself the gift of purpose and direction, two things that are absolutely crucial for a healthy, balanced mind. We're also going to talk about what happens when you leave things up to destiny and why that can leave you feeling powerless or unfulfilled. Plus, I'll share lots of practical and effective ways to start building a future that aligns with your values and aspirations. First, let's get ourselves on the same page with some definitions and let's talk about what does creating your future mean? Okay, so the idea of creating your future is about taking an active and conscious role in shaping what lies ahead, instead of just simply waiting to see where life takes you. It's about being thoughtful and intentional in the choices you make, and considering the longer-term implications of your decisions so that you're heading in the right direction. Think of it as being like the difference between being the driver of your own bus versus sitting in the back, hoping it ends up somewhere nice and not in a dodgy neighborhood. Creating your future is about looking at where you are now, thinking about where you want to go, and then making intentional choices to move in that direction, one step at a time. While none of us has a crystal ball, and we can't necessarily predict what will or won't happen in most cases, it's fair to say that the decisions you make today will inevitably influence what your tomorrow looks like. And proactively creating your future is about making sure that influence is deliberate rather than accidental. On a practical level, creating your future starts with clarity, as do most things. Think of it as plotting a course on a map. If you don't know where you're starting from and where you're heading, it's hard to figure out how to get there. That could involve setting personal goals like pursuing a new career path, building stronger relationships, prioritizing your health, etc. For example, if you've always dreamt of starting your own business, creating your future might involve studying your chosen industry, developing a business plan, and working on developing the courage to take that leap. Or, if you're looking to deepen your connections with your loved ones, it might mean scheduling regular time with friends and family or learning better communication skills. These steps may feel small at first, but they're the building blocks of something much bigger. Creating your future also involves recognizing that you're in charge of how you respond to life's ups and downs. Now, it's true that you can't control every twist and turn that happens. I mean, if only life came with a GPS that rerouted us around potholes and obstacles. But you can decide how you navigate them. For example, losing a job could be devastating, or it could be an opportunity to explore something new. It's about how you choose to look at things, something I discussed in my episode about reframing, episode 245. And you can find all of my past episodes linked on my website at ltamh.com. When you adopt a more positive and optimistic mindset, creating your future becomes less about what happens to you and more about how you choose to handle it. So, what does it feel like to create your future? Well, at first, it might feel a bit daunting, especially if you're used to just going with the flow or letting others take the lead. There might be moments of uncertainty or hesitation, which is completely natural. But as you take even small steps towards creating the life you want, you're likely to feel a growing sense of empowerment because you're building a life that reflects your values and aspirations. There's a really unique satisfaction in knowing that you're actively shaping your path rather than just leaving it up to chance and hoping you don't land on bankrupt in life's wheel of fortune. Now, let's talk about how this relates to your mental health. Creating your future is a proactive way of taking ownership of your life, which can have a really profound effect on how you feel about yourself and your circumstances. When you decide what matters to you and take steps towards those goals, you're reinforcing your sense of purpose and self-worth. And that's critical for mental well-being because it helps you feel less like a passenger in your own life and more like the person in the driver's seat. You're no longer drifting through life feeling powerless. You're taking charge in a way that builds your resilience and confidence. More importantly, creating your future isn't about pressure or perfection. You don't need to have all the answers or map out every step in detail. It's about progress, not precision. Some days, that might look like making a bold choice. On others, it could be as simple as showing up and trying your best. It's not about predicting the future either. It's about laying the groundwork for the kind of future you'd like to see. As a certain 80s one-hit wonder once said, "The future's so bright, I gotta wear shades." And that was by Timbuk 3, if you're curious. Fun fact, it sounds like an optimistic song, but it's actually about the threat of nuclear war, so, fun. So, while your future may or may not involve needing to think about your eyewear choices, it is yours to create. And that's a pretty exciting thought. Now, let's talk about why proactively creating your future matters. And it matters because it gives you agency over your life. Without it, you're essentially leaving your destiny up to chance, like tossing a coin and hoping for the best. While there's a certain appeal to the idea of going with the flow, and while I do think we need to find a healthy balance between shaping our future versus trying to rigidly control it, just seeing where life takes you or not having a clear idea of what you want versus what you don't often leads to drifting aimlessly, which can create feelings of dissatisfaction or regret later on. Being passive means you're letting external circumstances and sometimes other people dictate the course of your life, and that can leave you feeling powerless and unfulfilled. On the other hand, consciously taking charge of your life lets you align your actions with your values to create a life that's meaningful to you. When you simply wait and see where life takes you, it's easy to fall into a reactive mindset, constantly reacting to what happens rather than steering the ship to where you want to go and how you want to get there. Imagine standing at a crossroads and deciding to let the wind push you in a random direction. There's no guarantee it'll be the right one. Even worse, it can lead to a sense of regret if you feel like you've wasted opportunities to create something better. When you take intentional steps towards shaping your life, it gives you a sense of purpose and ownership. It reinforces the idea that you're in control of your destiny, which can boost your confidence and help you to weather life's inevitable storms. Plus, having a sense of direction helps reduce feelings of overwhelm and uncertainty because you're not just reacting to life as it happens. You're actively building a path forward. Even when things don't go exactly to plan, because let's face it, life doesn't always play fair, the simple act of having goals and working towards them can create a sense of accomplishment and progress. Proactively focusing on creating your future allows you to live more intentionally, building a life that reflects your values and priorities. It also helps you develop problem-solving skills and resilience, because when you take the lead in your own life, you're better equipped to handle challenges and adapt to changes. And most importantly, it opens the door to finding a greater sense of fulfillment in your life because you're working towards something that genuinely matters to you instead of just settling for what happens by default. While life will always have its surprises, creating your future ensures that you're not just waiting for things to happen, you're making them happen. And that's an incredibly powerful way to live. So, how do you do that? Well, let's first take a quick break to hear from the brands who help me create this show each week.
Experience a membership that backs your business journey with American Express Business Platinum. When you pay with membership rewards points for all or part of an eligible flight booked with a qualifying airline through Amex Travel, you can get 35% of those points back, up to 1 million points back per calendar year. American Express Business Platinum. There's nothing like it. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum.
Tomorrow morning is knocking. Stock your fridge now. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or a sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
REI has ultralight backpacking gear. So for you gram counters and ounce shavers, we made this ad ultralight with a base weight of just 13 seconds. The next 17 seconds, pure trail. Find more with less in-store and at rei.com.
And welcome back. Now let's get into the how-to part of today's episode and let's talk about how to create the future you want. All right, let's talk through some practical tips for creating your future, starting with clarify your vision, because it helps if you know where you want to go. Start by getting clear about what you want your future to look and feel like. Without a clear vision, it's like setting off on a road trip without a destination. You'll end up driving aimlessly and eventually running out of fuel. Think about what truly matters to you. Your values, your passions, and your long-term aspirations. This helps you to find a sense of purpose that feels right to you and a direction to aim for. To do this, set aside some quiet time to reflect on your goals, whether that's your personal growth, career ambitions, relationships, health, etc. Write it down or create a vision board, making it as vivid as possible. The clearer the picture is in your head, the easier it is to map out the steps you'll need to take to get there. Okay, next, set specific goals. Once you know what you want, break it down into specific, realistic, and achievable goals. Vague intentions like be happier or get healthier are really difficult to act on. Instead, focus on specific and tangible outcomes like exercise 5 times a week or apply for 4 jobs in the next month. This transforms your vision into actionable steps, and that makes it easier to measure your progress and stay motivated. Write down your goals and break them into short, medium, and long-term objectives, and then work on them step by step, regularly reviewing and adjusting them as necessary. Next, prioritize what matters most to you. Okay, so there are only so many hours in a day, and you can't realistically do everything you're probably going to want to do. With limited time and energy, it's essential to focus on what aligns most with your values and your long-term goals. Not everything on your to-do list will contribute meaningfully to your future. So, you need to prioritize, which ensures you're investing your efforts in the right places instead of getting bogged down by distractions. Identify your top 3 to 5 priorities and assess your goals against them, and let go of any tasks or commitments that don't serve your larger purpose. Use tools like a weekly planner or a top 3 priorities list to keep yourself focused. Next, take small, consistent steps. Creating your future isn't about making massive leaps all at once. It's about consistently taking small steps that add up over time. Big changes can feel overwhelming, which can hold you back from taking action. But small actions are much more manageable and they build momentum. For example, if you're saving for a house, start with a small weekly amount rather than trying to set aside a huge sum all at once. The same goes for changing your eating habits. Instead of thinking about the end result, make better choices one meal at a time. This type of approach reduces procrastination and it reinforces the habit of making progress every day. Break your goals down into bite-sized tasks and aim to accomplish at least one small step every day. Okay, next, focus on the present moment. So, this might sound funny considering I'm talking about creating your future, but hear me out. While planning for the future is vital, it's equally important to stay grounded in the present because it reduces overwhelm and ensures you're taking meaningful action now. You can practice this by using mindfulness techniques like deep breathing or meditation to stay focused on what you're doing today. The future is built one moment at a time. What you do now creates what comes next. And so that leads to my next point. practice gratitude along the way. While you're working towards your future, it's important to also appreciate the present, because this is where you live and this is where the future is created. Gratitude keeps you grounded and focused on what's going well, which can boost your motivation and mental health. And it shifts your mindset from thinking, I'm not there yet, to, wow, look at what I've already achieved. Even Oprah said, gratitude really is my religion. I start my day with thank you, and I end my day with thank you. And I mean, I'd be pretty grateful too if I had a home in California, another one in Hawaii, and the GDP of several small nations sitting in the bank. But Oprah has worked hard for everything she has. And never forget that this is someone raised in absolute poverty, who talks about practicing gratitude even when she had very little. And so it just goes to show the power of consciously turning your focus towards being grateful for what you do have, instead of feeling negative and concentrating on what you don't have. You can practice gratitude by keeping a journal, sharing daily wins with a friend or loved one, regularly taking a moment to reflect on the positives in your life, or even just starting and ending your day with a simple thank you. I also have some tools to help you get the most out of your daily gratitude and reflection practice, and my store is linked in the episode description. Okay, next, develop new skills. Investing in yourself through learning is one of the best ways to prepare for the future. Whether it's building your professional expertise, developing creative talents, or enhancing your personal skills, growth opens up new opportunities, and it increases your confidence and adaptability, making you better equipped to handle challenges. Identify areas where you'd like to improve and take action. That could mean enrolling in a course, reading a book, seeking out mentorship, etc. The key is to keep learning and challenging yourself. The more you learn, the more you grow. Okay, next, stay flexible. So, while it's important to have a plan, you have to remember that life often throws unexpected changes your way. Being adaptable ensures that you can adjust your approach without losing sight of your broader vision. Having rigid plans can lead to frustration when things don't go as expected. Instead, stay open to new opportunities or alternative paths that may align with your goals. Regularly review your progress and don't be afraid to tweak your strategy if it's necessary. Flexibility doesn't mean abandoning your vision. It means being smart about how you achieve it. Next, learn to say no. Creating your future means letting go of distractions and commitments that don't serve your goals, so you can free up your time and energy for what truly matters. That means having to say no sometimes, and that's okay. You don't have to agree to everything, and it's okay to prioritize your needs. Assess requests or opportunities carefully and ask yourself, does this align with my long-term vision? If the answer is no, decline politely. Saying no isn't selfish. It's an investment in your future. If you struggle with saying no without feeling guilty, listen to episode 258. Okay, next, manage fear and limiting beliefs. Look, fear is a natural part of stepping into the unknown, but it doesn't have to hold you back, and nor do the things that you think about yourself, like, I'm not good enough or I'll never succeed. Recognizing and challenging these thoughts allows you to move past them. To manage fear, acknowledge it rather than trying to suppress it. Then reframe it as a sign that you're challenging yourself and consciously focus on finding solutions instead of problems. You can also take daunting tasks and break them into smaller, more manageable steps to reduce anxiety and build your confidence as you go. Next, let go of perfectionism. Waiting for the perfect moment or wanting to have everything figured out first can keep you stuck. Letting go of perfectionism allows you to take action and learn along the way, which I talked about in episode 98 about perfectionism. Remind yourself that progress is better than perfection and celebrate the fact that you're trying, even if things don't go exactly to plan. Perfection is an illusion. What matters is showing up and giving it your best. Okay, next, take smart risks. Creating your future often involves stepping outside your comfort zone, but it's important to do so thoughtfully. Taking calculated risks, where you weigh the potential rewards against the consequences, can lead to growth and new opportunities. To start, identify an area where you'd like to push yourself, then research and prepare as much as possible. Whether it's applying for a new role or starting a creative project, taking smart risks can lead to big rewards. Next, regularly visualize your ideal future. Take time to imagine what your ideal future looks like as vividly as possible, which keeps your goals fresh in your mind and reinforces your motivation. Visualization isn't just a bit of daydreaming. It's a proven psychological tool for success. Set aside a few minutes daily to picture your future self achieving your goals. Think about the details, what you're doing, how you feel, and who's around you. The more real it feels, the more driven you'll be to make it happen. Next, surround yourself with support. The people you spend time with can significantly influence your progress, so it's important to cultivate a positive and supportive network. Evaluate your current relationships and seek out people who inspire and motivate you. You could join groups, attend events, or connect with like-minded individuals online. A strong support system can make all the difference when you're working towards your goals. Okay, next, track your progress. If you want to stay on course, then you need to keep tabs on your progress, which gives you a sense of accomplishment and allows you to adjust if needed. Create a system that works for you, whether that's a spreadsheet, a journal, an app, or a simple checklist. At the end of each week or month, review what you've done and celebrate your wins, no matter how small they may seem. This helps you stay motivated and it reminds you of how far you've come. Which leads to my next point, stay committed to the process. Creating your future requires long-term commitment. It's easy to lose enthusiasm when progress feels slow, but persistence is what separates dreams from reality. Staying committed builds trust in yourself. You prove to yourself that you can stick with it even when it's challenging. To stay committed, regularly revisit your vision and remind yourself why it matters. Celebrate your wins and milestones along the way and keep the bigger picture in mind. Creating your future isn't a one-time effort. It's an ongoing journey and every step counts. Because when it comes to creating your future and your mental health, what it all boils down to is this. Creating your future is one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. It's about stepping into the driver's seat of your life and making intentional choices that reflect who you are and what you value most. While it might feel challenging at first, every small step you take brings you closer to the life you want to create. The beauty of it all is that this is your journey, unique, ever-evolving, and entirely yours to shape. Remember, the future isn't something that just happens to you. It's something you build, moment by moment, decision by decision. So, why not choose to start today? The possibilities are endless. and your future self is waiting for you to make it happen. The choice is yours, as it is with all things related to your well-being. So, what choice will you make today? Each week I like to finish up by sharing a quote about the week's topic, and I encourage you to take a few moments to really reflect on it and consider what it means to you. This week's quote is by the late author Ellen Raskin, and it is, "Life is senseless unless you know who you are, what you want, and which way the wind blows." Let me repeat that. Life is senseless unless you know who you are, what you want, and which way the wind blows. All right, that's nearly it for this week. What does creating your future mean to you? Leave me a comment and let's talk. And support my show on Patreon for early access to ad-free episodes and exclusive content. It's linked in the episode description. Next week, I'll be talking about self-care strategies for the holidays. That will be out on December the 22nd, and I hope you'll join me. Thank you very much for joining me today. Look after yourself and make a conscious effort to share positivity and kindness out into the world, because you get back what you put out. Take care and talk to you next time. Let's Talk About Mental Health is an independent program proudly produced by Reconnaissance Media.